All right, let's get started for tonight, Thursday, April 21st, 2022 work session. All agendas are subject to change up to and until the time of the meeting. The meetings will be conducted hybrid. So we are going into a whole new era as we talked last week. It will be live, audience, and online. So Stacy, our clerk, is at home. She's ran into some difficulties. Stacy, can you do a, well, we don't have to do a roll call, do we? Let's just move right into the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And Ken, since you haven't been back in 2-3 years, we want to let you start off.
6 years. 6 years.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
It's like riding a bike, Ken. All right, public comment guidelines for anyone that's online. They can type in, but they can ask. The Town of North Beach welcomes public comment. Please state your name and address. Your public comment should only address the scheduled business items. You will be given 3 minutes to speak. There is nobody in our audience at this time, and I believe there is, do we have anybody online? Nope. Okay, so if somebody comes on, we'll give them an opportunity to speak. Let's go right into business items, fiscal 23 budget discussion. Tonight, what we're discussing is water, sewer, economic development, and also capital projects, I believe. Yes. So this is a point where I'm going to turn it over to, who's that? Is that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe to lead the way. This is her time. Thank you, Joe.
I appreciate that, Mayor. Again, as you know, this is my favorite time of year. And I'm so pleased this year, and I kind of mentioned a little bit at one of our last meetings, some reductions that we're going to be experiences for the customer. So I'm excited about that. My thoughts is that I would just kind of run down the note schedule and give you an overview, and then we can get into the detail should that arise. First, we start with the sewer account. And I am proposing that there's no change to the minimum, to keep it at the 4,000 gallons currently and keep the rate structure the same as last year. Council, you'll let me know how you feel about that, but based on it, you can see that the revenue is in line. I mean, we will achieve that revenue at the rate we are. So I would not want to impact the customer anymore at this year with everything in the world going on. I also am pleased to announce a reduction to the sewer benefit fee that we charge annually on the water, on the tax bill. And that is due to a debt service that was paid in full in February of 22. So the debt service, the benefit fee for the sewer fund last year was $250 per customer. This year it's going to be $118. So that's a significant savings to the homeowner. The new shared line agreement, number 36, you'll see that revenue, and if last few years, you'll see it has gone up. Well, it drastically went up in the last year, and that is due to the new agreement that the mayor was able to get signatures on between us and the county just for the flow outside of town. So that's a win-win there. One hiccup that we have this year that is impactful is the wastewater treatment plant. And you'll see that those costs have risen greatly, drastically. And the mayor, mayor goes to quarterly meetings regularly. And it's a struggle sometimes to get through things at the wastewater treatment plant, but we're working on it. So hopefully we'll be able to come to some type of equitable agreement on that soon. But it does affect our budget just by the increase, the large increase. Debt service that was paid in full was for the shellfish outfall, and I know that sounds strange, but over at the plant, it's a large, I wouldn't call it a capsule, but it's a large, not a building, but a container for overflow when we get large storm surges, so we don't overflow into the bay. So that was paid off. And then the debt for the ENR, that still remains on the sewer fund, and that does not expire until 2036. So the reduction in the benefit is a big win in the sewer fund. As far as expenses, no real changes other than the highlighted one that I told you, the major one, which is the wastewater treatment plant. I would ask, does anyone have any questions on this particular fund? If we have no questions on the fund, you can always send me an email. Lauren is really good at sending emails, so I imagine you guys, you can always send me emails, so I like that.
I just have a quick question.
Yep.
What is ENR?
ENR is oh Lord, enriched nutrient removal from the plant, which helps reduce the, I'm not that.
That's I
person.
got it now.
You got
I
it?
understand it.
Okay.
Yep. And then on note 35, the sewer benefit reduction, how does that affect the homeowner practically? Does that mean their bill goes down? Is that what we're talking about, or?
And we'll get into this in more detail, especially during the public hearing, but for your knowledge.
Yeah.
This item shows up on your tax bill. And the way the county has worded it in the past, it almost appears to be like a trash fee or something, when it's actually a combination. It's an assessment, which includes your water benefit, includes your sewer benefit, and your trash fee annually. It's those three items.
Okay.
So this year, they've agreed to change that to just a North Beach assessment. So some people might get confused or have gotten confused. They may live in a condo where they don't get charged trash, but they think they're being charged because they had that little trash in it. So we've cleared that up a little,
Okay.
but that's what that is. And if you are one of those people, just on a side note, that get the benefit fee and you have the full benefit, if you get all trash service, all water service, all sewer service, your normal fee annually was $771. If everything goes the way I propose, and that doesn't always work, but God bless you all if it does, that'll reduce that benefit fee to $632 by the time we're done.
Okay.
So significant savings to the homeowner or the landlord or so forth and so on. So that's where we are on sewer. Now I'm gonna go over to water. Water is doing well also. Water doesn't have as many struggles as sewer. Sewer is the most expensive of the two utility funds. So let's do a little bit talking about water. Same thing, structure remains the same. The fee remains the same, 4,000 gallon minimum, and the same rate structure. It's the one line item. Okay, and just for our purposes here, and I give this when we do the public hearing, I put this out, and it gives a breakdown of what the minimum bill looks like, what that means to the customer. So for example, when you see that 183.20, that is the minimum water bill, 23% of that is the water, 69% is sewer, and 8% of that is the flush fee for the state of Maryland that does not go into the town coffers at all. So I just wanted you to understand how high or what the percentage is for the sewer fund. It's very high. But anyway, that's an explanation of what are under those items. And I'll put that on the website when we get close to the public hearing. So same rate structure. And again, this we're having plus because we're able to reduce the water benefit fee from 107 to $100 annually for this particular fund, which is, it's a little bit of savings, but it's significant when you add all those together. The utility service maintenance for the water, that's number 41. That item, pretty standard, that cleans, maintains, paints the water tower. It does all those things that we can't do ourselves. So that's what we do annually. We don't always paint it, but I think it's every 4 years. Donnie may correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they paint the outside of it every 4 years. And then over the years, and Greg, I think even Ken was here. Maybe not pre-Ken, but I'm sure he would have agreed to this. Back when we did the water meters, Greg, and we did the well house repair, we self-funded those. And over the years, we have recaptured some of those monies as we go forward. So we have paid, we're $30,000 or $33,000 away from paying those projects in full. So we didn't have to borrow money. There's no debt service to the resident. And we were able to complete the task in a timely and efficient manner. Donnie was able to do those things without having to be burdened by waiting and prolonging it by either going through a loan or bond process. But we did follow the bidding process, of course, but it has helped us in as far as the town debt ratio. So that is the gist of the water. And those are the big items that I highlighted for you.
Just one quick question on that. So the self-funding mechanism, is that reflected in line? Is that capital expenditures? Line
Yes.
43? I'm not line 43, note 43.
Yes,
And so what's the 34? That's what we have left to kind of pay ourselves back?
yes,
Okay. I just want to understand it.
that's good. That's good.
Okay. I can't balance my own checkbook, but
Oh,
I'll help you balance yours.
I find that hard to believe, but you go ahead. Okay, let's talk capital projects. This year in capital projects, we have a few projects that are laying out there. And Mayor, did you want to speak on these, or you just want me to go down the list?
Just go down to your list and
Okay.
dissect it and give a question.
Okay. One of the 44 is the 9th Street Storm Pump Station Enhancement Project. And this is just me reading from this. So flower beds along Bay Avenue, we talked about this or hinted at this in the past. And if you ever walk down and you see how bad, what a bad shape they're in as far as rot and things like that. I mean, how old are those? Those are what, 20, over 20 years old. It's time.
Get there.
46. Well, I got dollar signs next to my notes. Ah, shame on me. Let me fix that. I apologize. 46, the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club needs some attention. And talking about, I can't see, I'm sorry. My paper's too long. I'm not that good that I can do all the way across. 1 second, I'm sorry. That was the town hall, number 46. Town hall is having an issue. If you were here the last few times at the meeting, you noticed it was warm in here. It's because one of those units have gone down. And this is for the replacement of the unit, the HVAC. And our building is what, 10, 12 years old, 12 years old. And also the painting and trim on some of the outside of the building. That's what that is for. 47 is for exterior painting of the Bayside Boys and Girls Club. This last year, the bulk of that money went to the elevator. They had to replace the elevator or some mechanism within the elevator, which was very expensive. So that was done, but now it's time to take care of the outside items. And that's what Donnie is telling us the cost is for that. The boardwalk railing repair or replacement, that's where needed. And again, that's Donnie's best estimate for those costs. And the lower level of the pier, the level decking, he calls it the lower level decking. I call it the fishing pier, but that's what it is. And that needs some attention. If you've been out there, you can see what that salt water has done to the wood out there. And then there's the sewer manhole repairs. Those are some items that we'll be addressing as we go forward. Mayor wants to get in detail on that. I'm not sure. Then it's the beach dredge. This is needed, but it can only occur between October and March. So that's why I spread it out. It's not necessarily going to be October through March, but it will depend on weather and contractor. And then the museum, I'm proud to say the mayor was effective up at the legislature. We got a $50,000, we almost 100% bond bill for $50,000 to replace the HVAC at the museum. That'll be helpful. And then my favorite part, and Lorna, you might be favorite too, is the grant consultant. And we would propose that you leave money in here to help with any type of grant applications or products that we may be able to obtain. And most of that stuff is under capital projects area. And that's the gist of your capital projects.
So I just have I think I do like 52, note 52. So is that somebody that would help with the grant applications, the process piece, kind of what you did with the MDE?
The consultant, the gentleman that you brought in, he's been gracious enough to do some free.
Right.
But there are times when you're going to need some money that's not free.
Yeah. And Dawn too put a lot of
Yep.
work into that as well. Okay. Great. Thanks.
And then on the last page, and I really didn't have a note because nothing's really changed, but I can tell you off the top of my head if you got a question.
Before we move on, can I real quick?
Yes.
So the beach dredge project, are we doing any kind of engineering study or anything with this first? Because I'm concerned the last time we did this, it lasted like 3 weeks and it was all back where it was, right? And obviously we can't control the weather, but if we have an engineer maybe look at this and help us determine maybe what the cause of this is, maybe it's the way the breaker walls are set up or something like that. I feel like it's worth at least putting a little effort there to see if there's something else we could change that would help not cause this to roll back exactly the way it was 3 weeks later.
We definitely will do that. What we found out after investigating it is that the permit that we pulled a couple of years ago to get the dredging completed is good for another 2 years, I believe. So we have time. What we did was we wanted to put this in the budget just so it's in the budget for now. The last meeting we had, you mentioned that we did start reaching out to people trying to find engineer by talking to other municipalities who have beaches and have so forth. So we are in the process of that. We just don't have any idea. This 200 could cover both.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree that needs to be done. I just want to try to see if we can do it in a way that makes it last a little longer.
As of today, we do not have a response from anybody, but we are reaching out, and based off of the numbers, more than likely it's going to have to be an RFP.
Okay.
Because it will be over 15. So, but absolutely.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
just want to chime in on that as well, Paul. So as part of the flood study, we also will be looking at, what happens with the beach when there are floods, because a lot of times it's the flood water from up that's taking the beach, the sand back out into the bay. And also when we look at the revetments and the different kind of, shoreline protections part, sometimes some of those may be able to help maintain the beach as well. But I agree with you wholeheartedly that that's a lot of money to put into beach replenishment if it's just going to disappear in 3 to 4 weeks.
Beautiful. Okay. Moving on. The community outreach, that's basically the same items as in prior years. Dawn has a detailed advertisement and budget that I'll include with that. And then there are some expenses for setting up for Christmas contractor help. And then if we needed to replace anything, there's a minor amount in there. No real big changes, no. And if that's basically the remainder of the budget as we go into our next session, which is, what date is that? Dawn, do you remember off the top of your head? I say May 4th, but I'm not 100%. Fifth grade? Cinco de Mayo? That sounds like a real good one. Good. Okay, but okay, so we have another opportunity, once you have all your materials, to ask your questions, refine this, anything that you have from there, we should address it at the next meeting or before then, and we can do that. But I really do, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I like breaking down in sections because then I don't have to cram everything.
No, it's needed. And also it gives
Better
the
for the
public more
resident.
time to break it down too, if they want to log in and,
Yes.
you know, we promote that it's out there. But definitely take a look at, you know, obviously the capital improvements and projects. If you look at the one, when it comes to the lower level decking, it's really the boat slips. And they're in pretty bad shape, but if you walk the pier, you'll notice that the main pier itself now, even though it's 7 years old, that we purchased #1 lumber with, has really deteriorated. We did take some pictures today and we sent it to the supplier of the product just to see why it lasted 7 years. So that will be, it might not be this time, but it will be on the list down the road because it's getting pretty bad. So far, we've had to replace 2 boards that have broken completely. Now, we thoroughly inspected it today, about 7 of us, and we feel very confident it's safe, it's fine, nothing's going wrong, but it will be on the list one day. And let me see what else real quick that I'd like to throw out there to you.
To acknowledge something I didn't before, but it's a bonus because when you see this number at the top for under the revenue for the capital, the 815, you see to the left of it, the 370. Those were projects we had in here, but we weren't able to complete. So don't get nervous when you see that. We won't be utilizing all that 370. So I just wanted to make you aware, it's not like it's over $1 million some total, if that makes sense.
And as Joe mentioned, we do have, when this term started, we started meeting quarterly with the wastewater treatment plant. And I can say that the steps we've taken over the last 3.5 years has made a major impact on our water. There is a number out there that we deal with. Myself, Joe, Rick, and DB had a very long meeting again yesterday about it. But our residents have stepped up for where it comes to water consumption. I mean, we've seen a dramatic improvement on water waste. And that's why we're able to do some of the things that we can do. And changing for the reduction of sewer benefit on the tax records, it's going to be a plus for us because we have that question presented to us. And Joe has worked hard over the years, and I think she has accomplished it this year. So the confusion should stop for a lot of people. It is, to us, mislabeled by Calvert County, and they agree, and they're working with Joe to take care of that. other than that, please go through it. You have any questions, email Joe. She loves email. She said that a couple times already. But her and I have gone through this thing a couple times and discussed it many, many hours. So please take a look at it. This affects all of us. So it's not just what the residents have to do. We all live in town too. So I think she did a great job with it. Very well organized.
Thank
I
you.
love the note section and I love it broken down by the different areas. It's easier to consume for all of us. So any questions from any council?
Let me know.
I have one more question, sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Um,
Don't apologize.
I just was reading through it. So the boardwalk railing repairs, so what are we contemplating there? Replacing the rest of the railing so it looks like what we've already replaced?
Yeah.
Yeah, our goal, what I know, and Bud was here, I'll tell you, we lose a large amount of pickets every week somehow. They disappear. Like they're not in the water, they just disappear. And with lumber prices have gone up, but what we want to do is continue the handrail all the way down to First Street.
Continue the new, like
The
the
new
new
look,
one and then
yes.
the new look.
Take it
Okay.
all the way down.
Okay.
So it's going to be a process. It won't just happen because we're hoping, fingers crossed, that lumber will come down some. So we're staying on top of that, but that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for with that budget.
Okay.
A quick question too. I've kind of lost track of where we are with this, but the Community Conservation Center, I think there's nothing in the budget for it this year. Was that fully funded last year by a grant or
Fully
something? Is that what
funded,
it?
110, we're putting in the remainder. It's under construction. If you go down there, you'll see it's
Oh, is it?
under
Okay.
construction.
I mean, another reason.
The Public Works crew and the mayor drew the pictures. He drew the pictures, but they're constructing it. What's the money is gonna go to, most of it's gonna be on the inside and all the accoutrements that she'll need to put on a good program.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Also, just to be clear, the bond was 100. Senator Jackson has really stepped up. He sends me photos of Councilmember Dotson testifying, but he has really been a fan of our town. He has stepped up with the pump, on Fifth Street, but also with the museum. I asked him to come down and take a tour of the best museum in Calvert County. He came down with his staff. We did a tour. He said, "What do you need?" I stepped back. Grace Mary stepped in and she says, "We need HVAC," because they have 3 in there, but we need to step them up because of the products are in there, the humidity and so forth. So we got some estimates. We sent it all to Senator Jackson. It went to the floor. They forgot it the first time. Grace Mary called me within 15 seconds. I text Don. Don says, "I understand, Mayor. Don't worry. It will be taken care of." And the following Friday, it's there. Now, I'm still new to that kind of stuff when it comes. So when I know more, I will pass more on about the bond and so forth. But Senator Jackson, if you get to see him out, just really thank him because he has really been a good friend to the town of North Beach. And we were all worried when our former senator passed away, but Senator Jackson has really stepped up.
No, thank you. It was a great meeting and I look forward to our next.
Fantastic. Can I have a motion?
Thanks, Joe.
I have a motion to.
So moved.
Second. Question. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.